Let's be real, you can't scroll TikTok or hang out at a cookout without somebody cracking jokes about size. Either it's bragging or it's complaints. But here's the million-dollar question. Do women in the US actually want something huge, or is that just hype? Because think about it. When was the last time you saw a guy get roasted by his buddies over his personality? Almost never. But size? That's the go-to punchline. And social media just amplifies it. Memes, viral videos, random TikTok clips. It's everywhere. The thing is, all that noise creates real pressure. Guys start comparing themselves. But today we're not just adding to the noise, we're shutting it down with actual research. No myths, no exaggerations, just straight up science about what women actually say, what the studies show, and why guys need to stop stressing over numbers. Before we jump in, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. Every single week, I'm dropping new videos breaking down men's health, performance, and confidence. Without the fluff, without the fake hype, just real talk you can actually use. Case study point 1, shopping habits reveal the truth. Alright, let's kick things off with one of my favorite studies because it's actually genius. In 2017, researchers at Stanford figured out that asking women directly about size preferences doesn't always give honest results. Why? Social pressure, cultural expectations. Nobody wants to sound shallow or be judged for their answer. So instead, they went undercover. They analyzed sales data from the top 5 adult retailers in the US, plus Amazon. Why? Because what women buy when nobody's watching is way more honest than what they'll admit in a survey. And here's the crazy part. The best-selling products weren't giant, intimidating, oversized models. Nope, the average size of bestsellers came in at 6.6 inches in length and 5 inches in girth. Now compare that to the actual average size of American men, which is around 5.1 inches long and 4.6 around. Almost identical. Translation: women weren't chasing extremes. They were buying what looks and feels normal. And here's where we pause. If you're already feeling a little relief, do me a favor, smash that like button so more people can see this and stop stressing about things they don't need to. Case study point 2, the 3D model experiment. Okay, let's move on to one of the coolest experiments ever done. In 2015, UCLA scientists used 3D printing to create 33 different models ranging in size from 4 inches all the way to 8.5. Widths ranged from narrow to thick. Then they brought in 75 American women ages 18 to 65 and had them literally hold the models in their hands and choose what felt ideal. No guessing, no surveys, no awkward questionnaires, just hands-on selection. And the results? Fascinating. For long-term relationships, women chose an average of 6.3 inches long, 4.8 around. For casual hookups, they went just a touch bigger, 6.4 by 5.0. That's barely a difference, and it's still right in the average range. So if you've ever stressed about not being big enough, science is telling you straight. The sweet spot is basically average. Quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. I've got a whole series breaking down male health myths with facts. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Case study point 3, width versus length, what really matters. Now here's where things get really interesting. For decades, the big debate has been, what matters more, length or girth? Back in 2001, researchers surveyed 50 sexually active college women and asked them straight up, what's more important for satisfaction, length or thickness? The results? 45 out of 50, so 90%, said width mattered more. And it doesn't stop there. A massive Dutch study later confirmed that around 77% of women said length was unimportant or totally unimportant for their satisfaction. So let me put this plainly. Girth usually wins. Why? The science actually makes sense. The average vagina is about 3.7 inches deep at rest, expanding to around 4.7 inches when aroused. Go too far beyond that and you're literally bumping into the cervix, which isn't fun. Most of the nerve endings that create pleasure are in the outer third, meaning width is what stimulates, not depth. And when it comes to orgasms, research shows women focused on clitoral stimulation usually don't care about length at all, while those who orgasm vaginally might prefer slightly longer. Case study point 4, context and psychology. Alright, so let's talk about context. Because preference isn't just physical, there are psychological factors at play too. The UCLA study showed that women picked slightly bigger for casual hookups versus relationships. Why? Probably because for a one-night stand, novelty and fantasy play a bigger role. But in a relationship, comfort, trust, and emotional connection matter more than size. Here's another mythbuster. So-called size queens, they're rare. Oversized products represent less than 0.2% of total sales, meaning the market doesn't lie. Most women aren't chasing extremes. And here's something I always remind my patients. Men are way more insecure about size than women are critical. One large-scale study showed only 55% of men were happy with their size, but a whopping 85% of women were satisfied with their partners. So guys, most of the worry lives in your head, not in your partner's experience. And if you agree more men need to hear this, share this video. It could save someone a lot of unnecessary anxiety. Case study point 5, the big takeaway. So let's wrap this up. When researchers look at what women buy, what they choose in labs, and what they report in studies, the pattern is crystal clear. The ideal size is basically average, maybe slightly above. Width matters more than length. And the real drivers of satisfaction aren't numbers at all. They're confidence, technique, communication, and emotional connection. Guys, if you're in the normal range, you're not just good enough, you're optimal. Science says so. So instead of stressing about something you can't control, focus on what you can. Building intimacy, boosting your confidence, and showing up as a great partner. If you found this video valuable, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because next week I'll be dropping a new interesting video. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.